Well, we start with the developing story at the Gold Coast Suns. As Robbo mentioned, he has spoken to Stuart Dew and the heat is rising on the Suns coach, as was evident in the past 24 hours.
There's nowhere to hide. Right now, the disappointment's pretty high. You can probably tell that.
A performance like that, it just invites the pressure onto the coach.
With Damian Hardwick available, all attention goes on Stuart Dew.
It's my firm belief that Stuart Dew's days at the Gold Coast Suns are numbered, and in fact he could be gone as early as by the end of this month. The firm belief now at the club is that there has been no improvement this year, in a year where improvement was expected.
I still question how much they are progressing and improving. Every time we think they're ready, they let us down.
They have lost faith, I believe, in Stuart Dew and his ability to take this club forward. And my equally firm view is that Damian Hardwick will ultimately be the coach of the Gold Coast Suns.
If you've got a three-time premiership coach who's available and you've made up your mind that he's your man, then I don't think you're going to canvass what else is out there. I think you're going after him.
Well, Robbo, you've spoken to the man that everyone was talking about in last night's football shows. What did he say?
Oh, no, he's extremely disappointed. It's been a pretty big day for Stuart Dew and his family. When a story gets told last night by Caroline Wilson, you know, the whole family is aware of it. And so Stuart Dew went to work today at the Gold Coast Suns. He had meetings with Mark Evans, the chief executive. Mark Evans assured him that the claims made by Wilson were unfounded. The chairman of the Suns, Rob East, he's on holidays in Vietnam. He sent a text to Dew, just saying, you know, get on with it, you'll be fine. Stewie was, he was angry. He was angry, and he's not alone. He told me that the players, to quote his word, are filthy. A lot of the players wanted to speak out today. They wanted to contact media and say, no, Stuart Dew's our man. A lot of us have signed on at the club because Stuart Dew was reappointed. And Stuart said, no, don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. But he's just not happy. He thinks Wilson's been running a vendetta against him for 18 months, try to, you know, push Clarkson into that job last year. Now it's Damian Hardwick. As soon as Damian Hardwick got sort of let go, as soon as he walked from the Tigers, you know, it was Damian Hardwick to the Suns. So I don't know if it's personal between Wilson and Dew. Dew, as I sit here tonight, he's bitterly disappointed. They were really poor on the weekend, and he knows that scrutiny's going to come. And the lack of effort and the pressure was just, you know, it wasn't good enough. I heard Lee Matthews on 3RW driving in tonight saying that he's been really impressed with the advancements that the Suns have made this year. But, you know, a couple of those losses, the Carlton loss and the Collingwood loss, as I said last night to you, Catherine, invites pressure, invites speculation.
Well, I find that quote quite interesting. He says the players are filthy. They're like, you're our coach, mate. We've signed knowing you're going to be our coach and we're in it. They asked me, what do you want to do about the claims? I said, boys, don't worry about it. What they can do is play their hearts out on Saturday night against Port Adelaide.
They can do it. But see, still, I mean, I was part of it as well because we're all talking about the future of Stuart Dew. But it just seems like every time a big name becomes available, it's, right, let's kick the crap out of the Suns and Dew. And they seem to ride this roller coaster. We were talking before they went to Darwin. How big are the two Darwin games? They've got to win, and they do win. Exactly.
So you raise a good point, because it's not just Caroline Wilson reporting about the Gold Coast Suns and Stuart Dew. I know what you're talking about with those direct quotes, but the whole industry has been talking about the Gold Coast Suns the past 24 hours because of their performance against Collingwood. So where does he sit on his future in terms of this isn't where he'd like to be? 12th on the ladder, 7 wins, 8 losses and a couple of poor losses in the past 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, they've got to be better. He knows that. They've got to be better, and they play Port Adelaide away this week, so it's going to be a huge challenge for them.
Well, it's a tough month. They've got Port in Adelaide, the Saints at home, GWS in Canberra, and we've seen the role that the Giants have got on lately, and then it's the Q clash. It's a big 4 weeks.
Yeah, it is. It is. But as we sit here right now, I would have liked. I think the footy world would have liked to have listened to or heard from Mark Evans today, the chief executive of,
that would have been good support
of the Suns, and the fact that nothing came out, and I was chasing them throughout the day. I rang Mark Evans late, but I was chasing Stuart Dew earlier in the day, and we finally got to speak later in the day. And I think it's been a pretty solid day at the club. But when someone makes claims like they did, which is the club has decided they're going to sack you, Stuart Dew, and he goes to the club and the club says that is completely and utterly unfounded, either Wilson is making it up, OK, or the club is lying to Stuart Dew. They're the two scenarios. So
just clarifying, you haven't spoken to Mark Evans today?
No, I haven't.
Because that would have been, would you agree, a great sign of support, Stuart Dew, if he was to come out in front of the media today?
Yeah.
Or do some sort of interview?
Well, Stuart Dew is having his weekly press conference tomorrow, so that'll be a pretty solid occasion for him. It'd be interesting if Mark Evans appears at that press conference, actually. But then again, they say, well, why are we jumping at shadows? If we think there's nothing in it, why are we jumping at shadows because a journalist in Melbourne says it's my firm belief that Stuart Dew's going to get sacked this month?
So does he feel supported?
Absolutely.
In saying all that?
Yes, he does.
He has a good relationship with Mark Evans.
He has got a good relationship with Mark Evans, and he's got a really good relationship. More importantly, he's got a great relationship with his players. Ben King re-signed. Noah Anderson re-signed. They were losing players. They lost Isaac Rankin last year. I want to go home. They had no Touk Miller for, what, 10 weeks, 11 weeks now, off the top of my head. So they lost a gun small forward, they've lost a gun midfielder and their captain. And they've got young fellas committing to the club. I thought when they signed for the club, it was a really good indication that they wanted Stuart Dew as coach, and they're really satisfied at this time with the progression the club is making.
It's always going to be a big talking point, though, when Damian Hardwick's available and looking like he wants to coach next year. So where do you think that leaves Damian Hardwick and his people? Because given they are premiership teammates, you'd imagine Damian or his people wouldn't feel comfortable talking to the Gold Coast Suns while Stuart Dew's in the chair. So what do you think this means for Dimmer moving forward?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. Damian Hardwick, I think he said on the weekend he's going away back to Europe for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks. Wouldn't that be nice? So he's going back there.
He's coming back finals time.
Right.
Probably rev up there.
Is any other clubs off the top of my head going to be looking for a new coach, or is it only Stuart Dew? Is it only Stuart Dew? And he may not even be looking for a new club, the Suns. So I don't know. Damian Hardwick might not coach next year. But I said to you last night, Kath, I don't necessarily agree with the concept that he's a great coach. Damian Hardwick's a great coach because it took him 8 years to win a premiership, but he built for 8 years. And then Dustin Martin became the greatest finals player that's ever played the game before. So Damian Hardwick's a 3-time premiership coach, but would he be without the greatest finals player of all time, Dustin Martin? So a lot of things went right for Dimmer, and he brought it all together and he had great assistance. But I just don't necessarily think you can go plonk, grab Damian Hardwick and plonk him there and say, bang, give us the gold dust. That's very difficult to happen in football. Very difficult.
But at the same time, you did agree last night it's probably irresponsible for the Gold Coast Suns to not at least reach out.
Only if they're looking for a new coach. Why would you reach out if you've got a coach? You'd only reach out if you believe that you need a new coach. He's contracted for next year, Stuart Dew. They could sack him. I don't know. This is a funny world that we live in. It's football.
Yep.
They could sack him. Everyone could be lying. I don't know. But
it's a watch this space, particularly
it's
over
always
the
a
next
watch this
month.
space.
It is.
Always watch this space.